Hey guys, Sebastian here. In today's video, I want to share a few things you really should avoid saying or asking a Greek. As a tour guide in Athens, I hear these things all the time, and you might want to be a little careful with these topics. So the first one is to say, how come I don't see any lamb gyros in Greece? I only see chicken and pork, but gyros should be with lamb. Now, I know that most countries abroad have gyros mostly made with lamb, and the thing is, 100 years ago, that's how it was in Greece as well. But back then, there were lots of shepherds, and lamb prices were pretty low. In the meantime, lots of families have relocated from the countryside to Athens to have a better living, and so suddenly there was way less sheep on the market and prices then go up. And considering Greece is not a rich country by any means, between paying 4 euros for a pita wrap with chicken gyros or 8 euros for lamb gyros, nearly all Greeks will go for the cheaper option. And so nearly all street places have scrapped lamb from their menu because no one's buying it. And we do get a bit offended when foreigners tell us how our food should be. We would love to have lamb gyros every day of the week, but most Greeks just can't afford it. But don't worry, if you really want to have lamb gyros while in Greece, I got you covered. Here are the two places where you can find lamb in Athens and Santorini. Second point, if you're staying at an Airbnb, maybe don't mention that too often. There's nothing wrong with the concept of Airbnb per se, but in Greece, it had a major impact on housing. In Athens especially, it's pushed rental prices super high and many locals can no longer afford to live in their own neighborhoods. So yeah, we're not against tourists, not at all. Tourism is what keeps Greece afloat, but Airbnb is a bit of a touchy topic. Next, I often get asked, why do you have all these statues of Turkish men in Athens? Or why do you have all these portraits of Turkish soldiers in the restaurants? Now, I know that they can be mistaken for Turks, but ironically, these are our heroes of the Independence War who fought, guess whom? The Turks. So these are not Turkish soldiers, they're literally the opposite of that. They're the Greeks who were fighting the Turks. But of course, since Greece was occupied by Turkey from the 1400s until the 1800s, the clothing style and the mustache had become a thing in both Greece and Turkey because we influenced one another for these 400 years. So yeah, I know that they look Turkish, but definitely don't ask a Greek why there are Turkish statues in town. Next, don't tell Greeks, oh wow, your restaurants are so cheap here. Only 20 euros per person, that's crazy cheap. You might not know this, but the average salary in Greece is around 900 euros per month, which is roughly 5 euros per hour. So 20 euros for a meal might be an amazing deal for you, but for many Greeks, that's like half a day of work. It's still a lot of money. And by the way, the same goes for rent. When a Greek tells you that he's paying 800 euros per month for a flat in Athens, don't say, oh, only 800 euros? No, if you make 900 euros per month as your salary and rent alone is 800, it's gonna be tricky. And that's why I keep suggesting in all my videos that you tip the Greeks who are serving you. What is for you a small tip is probably worth multiple working hours for a Greek. Next, don't say Pantheon instead of Parthenon. I know these two words sound very similar, but the Pantheon is in Rome. The word comes from pan and theos, meaning it's the temple devoted to all gods, while this on the Acropolis in Athens is the Parthenon, coming from Parthenos, the virgin, since the Parthenon was the temple devoted to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who was a maiden. So when in Greece, don't ask the locals your way to the Pantheon, it's the Parthenon. Next, avoid telling seasonal workers on the islands that they have such a dream job. That's something I heard a lot when I was still on Santorini. It's true that there are worse places in the world to work than Santorini or Mykonos, but we worked 7 months without a single day off. That's April the 1st all the way to October 31st with 0 days off. Plus, we often work 10, 12 hours per day, maybe even more, which means we don't have any social life outside of work. If you ask your waiter or your hotel receptionist in Mykonos what are the best beaches or the best bars in the area, do you really think he has any time to go and discover all these things? He's working from morning till midnight. He has no idea what's going on the rest of the island. So avoid asking these questions. Next, and this is kind of an obvious one, I guess, don't move ancient rocks. Just a few days ago, this tourist was photographed holding a piece of the ancient gate of Naxos in his hands. Don't do that. Plus, following this incident, the Greek Ministry of Tourism announced that there will be a fence from now on in the whole area to avoid having similar situations again. So we won't even be able to go close to these ruins anymore. So please don't be that tourist. Next, if I had to count how many times someone has asked me where they can go to smash some plates, as Greeks do apparently. Smashing plates was only a thing for a few years in the 1960s, back when everyone had tons of money. It was the post-World War II economic boom, but that trend quickly faded, and nowadays, maybe occasionally at a wedding, we might do a little bit of it, but even then, it's really rare. So I know that many tourists are excited to break some plates when in Greece, but I'm afraid to tell you, if you actually end up at a restaurant where there's plates being smashed, you are at the biggest tourist trap ever. Next, I hear many people complain that there's still scaffolding on the Parthenon and it ruins the view. Just have a look at what this guy has to say.
And there we finally have the Acropolis. Finally see it. Lovely. Lovely bit of scaffolding. I mean, yeah, it's a nice looking building. It's just got scaffolding around it. It's a bit like, you know, when guys try dye the hair, like into the late 80s. Just let it go. You're 85. Let it go. You're 2,000 years old. Let it go.
All right, now I get it. It's humor. He's not trying to be mean. I actually think he's pretty funny. But there's two things this guy probably doesn't know. One, luckily he didn't come like 20 years ago. Otherwise, he would have seen this. Now that's some scaffolding right there. Nowadays, there's hardly anything left compared to how it was a few decades ago. And secondly, the cranes and the scaffolding are there because we're currently consolidating this 2,500-year-old structure in order for it not to randomly collapse one of these days. The ancient marble blocks were full of cracks, you know. It would not have survived much longer if we hadn't consolidated it. If you want to hire me as your tour guide in Athens, here's my Instagram page, and I'm going to leave you with these two videos, what souvenirs I recommend you get in Greece, and if you're going to Rome as well, before or after Athens, you should watch this one as well. And there you go. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.